Hello, my soul tribe, and welcome. These are just some channel messages that came in this morning. Now, typically, these are the sort of messages when I just get those messages that drop in that go to my Patreon members on Bloom. But this was important for the collective. I don't think this is so much for my Patreon members. And it's just a reminder that it's important that you know what your inner compass is, right? And if you use your ego as your inner compass, it's likely to lead you down paths that are unnecessary, that create challenges for you, that take you off of your alignment, right? We are human, we have egos, right? Ego is part of our experience. What's important is that it's balanced out. The other message that came through was that make sure that you are not always seeking information outside of yourself, but that you are reconnecting in with you. Of course, like there are people around us and there are resources that are really valuable and we can help each other, right? But it's so important that you connect back with yourself, because the more space that you put between yourself and like your attention, right, you're creating this distance or this gap. And for some of you, it creates kind of a space of where you're kind of vulnerable to be manipulated, right? So it's important that you connect back in with your energy, with your truth, with your intuition, and that you find that balance between, your ego and your soul, or your ego and your heart space. That was one of the main messages that was coming through. Another one was especially for those of you that are just starting a path, and you are claiming that you are a healer or you are a spiritual teacher. Just know the second that you claim that, you are given a syllabus by the universe, okay, that says, okay, well, here's, the lessons and the messages and the classes and what you have to learn, and no, you cannot skip steps, and no, you can't pretend. And if you try, then we're going to put you back at, the level where, you have kind of graduated to, right? So it's an important message of realizing you don't have to rush your spiritual experience or your journey. You don't have to compete in your with your spiritual path, okay, or with your ascension. Like, make sure that you take time and you don't skip steps. And if you want to be a healer, the universe is like, okay, then first you heal yourself. If you want to be a teacher, then first you have to unlearn things that were conditioning for you, and you do require some form of healing and teaching, right, from other teachers, right? Of course, we can activate things from our past lives, and we have skill sets and things like that sometimes will come online within this lifetime, but you still need to take the time to integrate that. You can't rush your experience. So I don't know who this message is for, but just know that it's not about the ego. It's not about rising to the top as fast as you can. It's not about being the best all the time. It's not about, being superior. Okay. I think that's one of the big messages. Everybody wants to feel important. Everyone is. Everybody wants to feel powerful. Everyone is. But keep in mind that if you are coming from a place of ego, okay, as your direction, as your director, you're going to be limiting yourself, because people that have true spiritual power in this world have so much light within them. But to have that light within them, they have to move through their healing and do their shadow work. Okay? It's like the roots of the tree have to go down as deep as the branches can extend. Otherwise, it's out of balance and the foundation is not set. So it's so important that you take your time, that it's okay if you have questions, right? It's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all. You don't have to know it all. You don't have to be the best, There's no competition spiritually for your aligned path and who you are authentically, right? And, free will is beautiful and wonderful. And again, it's like you choosing a path, but understanding that if you want to be a healer, you've got to do the healing work, right? If you want to be a spiritual teacher, you need to move through the lessons. It's not anything where you can skip or cut corners. And I know that, some people want to, you don't want to do that healing work, but to rise to the next level, you have to go and do that work. Because there needs to be a sense of balance, a balance of the light and the shadow, a balance of, you know, the ego and the heart space. It's so important right now. Okay. It is so important right now. And this is, I'm a messenger in sharing this. I'm not saying I'm the master of this. I'm not, you know, we are all always evolving and learning. And as long as you are on your spiritual journey, right, which some people could say that's for life, right? But as long as you're serving others, we'll say, as long as you're serving others or you're in a place of leadership, it is so important that you are still teachable, that you are still upgrading, that you are still open, you know, to your to learn, not necessarily learning more, because it's not coming from a place of scarcity or you not, you know, being enough or having enough. It's just that you're ready, that you're open to upgrade, basically, because especially if you are serving others, right? And we can learn from everybody, and no matter where somebody's at on their journey, we can always learn from them. And I think that the second that we think that we're at the top or we're superior, or, you know, we can't learn from others, you know, or, you know, some, and I'll be completely honest, I know there's some healers, there's some spiritual beings out there that are just like, you know what, I'm done. I'm retiring, and that's fine. This is not your message, right? And if you're listening to this message and you're like, oh yeah, that, you know, that kind of makes sense, most likely you're pretty balanced on your journey. But if this message is triggering you, then this message is for you, because the universe will make sure you're in your alignment with your authenticity. Otherwise, you will go back to those lessons. You will go back to, you know, those basics so that you have your foundation, right? You will not be able to level up if you don't put in the effort, the time, the work, right? Or the alignment. And for everybody, for what you choose for your path, that's different, right? This is just one example. Like the healer is a great example. Like, and I can't tell you how many times on my journey where it's like, okay, you know, I went through an attunement, and it just keeps happening. You keep evolving, you keep growing. But just whether you are like, you know, an expert in what you're doing, just still be open to be teachable, still be open to evolve, still be open to receive, right? And learn from others, okay? And if you're just starting and you like feel the first sense of like having the spiritual power and being aligned and connected in with this, understand that it's so important you're aligned with your heart space and you're grounded and you have those foundations and you have those basics, and you are also open to learning from others, but not giving your power away, that you come back to your center, that you know intuitively what is in alignment for you and what is not, right? So a few different messages that came through. I know it was quite a passionate message, but yeah, the ego, if your compass, if your North Star is your ego, it will mislead you. It will mislead you. Because again, those that have the spiritual power, those that are in the genuine leadership spiritually, I mean, of course, there can always be false light, and there could be those that, you know, I'm not going to get into all that, but they have a lot of love and they're in alignment with their integrity, and they know why they're here. Okay. They know why they're serving the communities they're serving, and they are open to receiving those attunements. They're open to receiving those upgrades. They're open to making, you know, shifts and changes to align with their authenticity and their frequency. Okay. They're open to that evolution. So that's just what wanted to come through. So like I said, you know, this is for someone here. Okay. It may not be for everybody. And the other messages too, if you're just starting on your spiritual journey, or you've gone through your own awakening recently, take your time, be discerning of energies, be discerning of information, be discerning of what's on the internet, be discerning. Okay. Be very discerning. All right. And know that anything that comes from source energy, even if it has a label of something that is spiritual or a label of something that is good, those sorts of energies that are aligned with you, that are aligned with love, that are aligned with wisdom, that are aligned on a higher frequency, will serve a higher purpose in your life, will elevate you, will be loving. will not stroke your ego, right? That's kind of the difference. And when you are first going through that, you know, if someone is just starting their spiritual journey and they're like, okay, this is my mission from God and da 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 da, it's not like that. Okay, it takes exploration, it takes time, and you know, make sure too that you're not following others, that you are really tapping in with your truth and your authenticity, and again doing that aligned work, right? Because you can get so lost, you can be misled, you can be manipulated if you don't have a strong sense of self or a strong foundation. Okay, so yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it. You know, receive what aligns, release what doesn't. I am, you know, just the messenger and had to get this out here for those of you that maybe are like, okay, you know, I've reached the top and I'm not going to evolve anymore, but I'm still serving others, right? And those of you that have just started your journey, but you're more aligned with your ego than you are your heart space, just know there will be reminders to align with your heart space, right? Or you might get frustrated on your journey because things are not evolving, things are not going in the way that you hope. But it's a way that source, the universe, reminds you to connect back in with your heart space, right? Not to give your power away, you know, to the ego or to, you know, to others. Okay, so be true to you, okay, and be discerning and come from a place of love. Connect in with that heart space, connect in with that light within you. And there's a misconception between the light, you know, and what the light is. People think light, oh, love and light, like that's just, you know, airy fairy and everything is fine and I'm going to spiritually bypass everything. No, light shines on everything. Light shines within us and it shows us things and it transmutes, and it is that pure love energy, right? But it's not for those who are in their ego. Okay, it will actually shine through the egoic mask to the insecurity, to who you truly are. That's what the light does. Okay, and it aligns you with your authenticity. Let's see if there's anything else that wants to come through. I think that's it. Just make sure, yeah. Well, for those of you that this message is for you, you'll know. Many of you will be like, oh yeah, I remember that part of my journey. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I could open up a little bit more and I could evolve, or I could maybe learn some new skill sets, or, you know, learn from those around me a little bit more, right? Because again, no matter where we're on the journey, we definitely learn from each other, okay? There's something else there, but it's not coming through, so maybe there'll be a part 2, I don't know. So that's what I have. Take the best care of yourself, and I will see you soon.